This is part 2 of my vlog about the first book of the Twilight series. I posted the other one already, so if you haven't seen that, you should check it out. These are basically, it's my reaction to the Twilight book, the first one. And I will be posting reactions to New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn when I am done reading them as well, so stay tuned. Now, while I may not have read Twilight before, I do recognize the names of some of the main characters, such as Jacob, whom, on page 118, we are introduced to. This Bella kid sure does get in a lot of trouble, doesn't she? One minute she's getting hit by a car, and the next these guys want to rape her. I don't know how I feel about this. And suddenly, Bella knows that he's a vampire, and suddenly he's like, oh yeah, actually, hypothetically, of course. But he totally admits to it really easily, and that seems a little unbelievable to me, but... Page 195, Bella finally admits she's in love with Edward. Aha! Page 210, I knew it! Bella is not, in fact, just an average, ordinary girl. She is actually quite beautiful, and every male falls in love with her upon seeing her. I knew it! I knew she had to be perfectly beautiful. Oh my gosh, I get it. He's attractive, he's hot. Ooh, I get it already. These chapters are really dragging. I swear it feels like it was on page 50 when Bella said, oh, I'm gonna make a shopping trip over to Seattle. And I'm on nearly on page 250 and it still isn't shopping trip to Seattle day. Or whatever. I think she's going out with Edward to see him sparkle in the sun or whatever, something like that. But holy cow, the time is just dragging in this. But so much is happening. I feel like, I don't know how long she's been here, but it feels like, the way it's reading, like it's only been a month and a half, and she's completely head over heels in love with someone, and I know I should probably just expect this because of the first person narrative, but I swear to God, in this chapter, she has mentioned the fact that she is doing laundry 8 times. And yet then in the midst of doing the laundry, actually, instead of just talking about doing the laundry, she says, since I'd come to Forks, it really seemed like my life was about him being Edward. And that kind of puts me on edge because, I mean, she's saying that her life basically is about Edward instead of him being a facet of her life, and that's kind of a scary message to be showing people, that when you're in love with someone or, whatever, that makes your entire life revolve around them, and I don't know if that's exactly what she means, but that's almost what it sounds like, and I don't know how I feel about that. He does sparkle. His skin, blah blah blah, literally sparkled thousands of tiny diamonds were embedded in the surface. She seems to be using big words just for the sake of using big words when a smaller word would do. For example, his sculpted incandescent chest, his scintillating arms bare. It's really? I feel like that's unnecessary. First off, it's yet another description of how hot he is. But also, I don't know, her word choice just has been irking me a lot. Places where really you don't need a word like that, like scintillating, you don't really need that there. And now, not only is he the only thing that matters to her, but as Edward says to Bella, you are the most important thing to me now, the most important thing to me ever. I really seriously feel like they've known each other for 2 months. Earlier I said that I thought that Edward was stalking Bella. Now I definitely think so. He knows where she hides the house key and he says, what else is there to do at night? In reference to her saying, you spied on me. She's flattered by this. She's flattered by the fact that this guy is stalking her. And not only is he watching her at night, he watches her every night while she sleeps and listens to her talk in her sleep. Creepy! Pages 309 through 310. They're talking about sex, but they don't want to outright come and say sex, so they're talking about being married and that. And again, he says, you are my life now. And there's just something about that makes me exceedingly uncomfortable. I guess it might be the idea of basing your entire life around one person. Not that you shouldn't be able to trust people and trust them deeply and love them deeply, but to make them your entire life, it's just, I feel like, for me at least, it's just taking it too far.
Good God, now even this James character, this tracker vampire thing wants Bella. Everybody wants her.
And I get the whole thing about how Bella has some original scent and how everyone smells differently and she smells the best to Edward and all this jazz, but I feel like the family's going through one hell of a lot of pain and misery just for her. I mean, I don't know, I guess they're a really close family, but damn. Finally, some blood, guts, and gore. Except not really any guts, but venom. Biting and broken legs. It's action. And now they're going to prom. And so I finished the first book of the Twilight series, Twilight. While I can understand what draws young readers in, especially young female readers, that is the fact that they can easily identify with the character Bella, what she's going through, as in her emotions prior to meeting Edward, and then giving them something to long for. If they were like Bella, then they could have Edward. I can see why that would draw readers in. However, I felt that the prose style was pretty low level with big words mixed in, which does not instantly make a higher reading level. And also, I found that the events happened too quickly for the timeline. That is, the book seems to take place, I mentioned this once, over a series of a couple of months. Yet in that time, Bella moves to a new town, makes new friends, gets 4 admirers if you count Jacob, falls completely head over heels in love with someone, gets to know him really well, nearly dies like 10 times. It's a lot to have happen in a long time. In a short time, rather. In so short a time as the book takes place. Still, I've got 3 books to go, so we'll see what happens next. My name is Keps, and I approve this message.